far from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of this nightmare. But when I start to see those eyes begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes now to try to change them to sunshine, to be someone among others. I've got to try it. If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. If I wait tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I fall asleep when I'm home. When I'm young, no way to go, no one that can see through at the shine of the light. I can see my life is crap, I have to see them too. I just live into my world, far from the pain, the feel. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of the start of hell. But when I start to see those eyes begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes now to try to change them to sunshine, to be someone among others. I've got to try. If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. If I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I fall asleep when I'm home. I was so wrong, I was so blind, I was so dumb and out of time. I was so wrong, I was so blind, I was so If I bleed tonight, if I am
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, good evening, race fans, and welcome. We are live here tonight, Phoenix, out here in the desert. Going to do some kind of oval style racing, a 1 mile track here. Looked pretty good too. Had a pretty good race here today, and the real NASCAR side of things. We're here tonight with the Ford Entertainment Group, Sim500 here. These guys got the Xfinity cars out here tonight, and it's going to be a real good one as they lining off the grid. Alex, I tell you what, this place, you know, they reconfigured it. This is actually with an open dog leg and all that, but it's been reconfigured from what it used to be to what it is now.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it right now, just trying to get a little bit more in depth on that renovation for you, Joe. But this is definitely an interestingly laid out track here at Phoenix, and like you said, great interesting race today. I was watching it, listening to it on the radio when I was doing my workout too, so because we're about to go green, it looks like, but you can go anywhere you want on this track. There ain't no lows you can go. You hit the wall.
There you go. Green flag flies. We're racing here in the desert tonight. Going to be a good one. And like I say, these guys, man, gearing it up here out front already. You probably, like you said, you might be able to go side by side, but Daniel Falkenham right there, and obviously right there in that dog leg part, you're going to be able to spread these things out 2 and 3 and 4 wide there, as you see. I think though, after the course, they're probably going to get a little bit. We got a car spinning. Looks like Eric Wood, Scott Simley. Actually, Glenn Campbell's involved. Let's go back on the replay because I don't think there's no caution. Like, see what happened. Oh, you see a car getting a wall. And Glenn Campbell just looped it. But I do believe there were some other ones involved in that. Nope. Looks like everybody got good, but he got off the racing surface in time. Well, look at this 3 wide racing right here around 15th place spot.
Yeah, you could definitely get away with that for a little bit. I definitely wouldn't recommend it, though, for a great long, like a longer stretch. But I would, I mean, you could definitely get away with it for a lap or two. As you saw, if we were, like you said, you were watching the race earlier, definitely had some moments of that. So it can be done. And these guys, as competitive as they are, can pull it off, and how skilled they are behind the wheel of these cars. And these guys can definitely get it done. So it could prove for some exciting racing here if they get to go in that way a little bit. But you'll see some pretty decent battles going on. It looks like I was saying earlier, you can go as low as you want. There ain't no line saying, as you're watching right now, all these guys dipping below the line right here in that little dog leg right there. But you could use the entirety of the track.
Absolutely.
And wherever it works for you, it'll work for you. But more likely than not, it's that lower-ish part of the track will work out best for you from what I'm looking at and what I've been seeing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think what's going to happen is this place is going to tend to be kind of a one-groove style track. Now, you will, and every time I say that, it all dictates if it goes green, and we've seen a lot of green flag racing in Sim500. You know, one guy's get on one pit cycle, another gets on another one, so it kind of throws all that out the door. But like what you said, this place is wide enough, especially in that dog leg turn, to go 3, 4, or 5 wide. You just don't want to hold that going out into, I think it's what would be turn number 2, I believe it, or turn 2 and 3, I think, or turn, excuse me, 1 and 2, my bad. Going into there, so even though you can fan out on that front stretch, that's something you want to do. Now, turn 4 here. Again, I have not run the newer configuration of this place. I ran the old one, and I remember turn 4 coming out of it, you had to be very, very careful getting back on the throttle. So we'll have to see if that plays a factor here tonight. Looks like there's a little more banking in this one. So far, it's been a good one. Good one here. As we got Daniel Falkenham out front. Tommy Ryan, well, we saw what happened there last night with him. Boy, he did an outstanding job there. Sitting in second, David Comstock hangs on to third. Ryan Hopper up in the fourth, and E.J. O'Rourke hangs on top 5.
Yeah, if you give me a second, Joe, I'll skim through this, try and give you a little update on the reconfiguration. Because it looks like it was in about, from what I see, was in 2011 is when it was renovated, reconfigured, whatever you want to call it. I think renovation is the word.
There you go.
But I think one of the biggest things that I'm seeing right here, based off of the pictures that I'm looking at, is they don't have the little road course on the inside anymore.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Unless it's there, but I'm not seeing it on these pictures really. So I'll have to get some above.
Didn't they like move the start finish line or something like that? It moved. I thought the start finish line moved or something. Or I don't know. The reconfiguration of it was mostly in that dog leg area. To me, it looks like they almost took the dog leg out.
It says right here, renovations in 2018 reconfigured the pit road and infield areas, which might have gotten rid of that road course I was talking about, and moved the start-finish line to just coming out of what was turn 2, which is now turn 4, before the dog leg.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. So basically, this is a whole totally new track. I mean, same track, but if you look at the old Phoenix setup, the dog leg, and really here, I don't even think it's there anymore. It's an open one, they say, but it's not like what it was where you could fan out. I'm talking 3, 4, 5 wide. I don't think you can do that at this one. It's not wide enough, or the way they cut the track. There's a lot there. To me, they actually made this track. I mean, it's only 1 mile track, so to me, it's a short track. But we've always said that before. It doesn't give that feel of a short track, kind of a big one. But to me, what the reconfiguration really cut the dog leg out entirely, and made this place more of a cookie cutter, so to speak.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that little breakdown that you were just saying, Joe. But I'm thinking, well, I'm reading some of this renovation, reconstruction stuff, and it is confusing the crap out of me right here.
Your dog agrees. I'm telling you, he loves it. So, well, you just saw right there. I mean, there still is some of the dog leg, which made this place so famous. Right there, you can see it as they come out. They're able to go down a little bit down there, but it's not as fanned out as it used to be. So they cut a little bit of it. I was watching a great race right here around about 12, 13, 14th place spot. It's Mike Kelly, Jose Gonzalez, Eric Arnold, Ralph Van Divorce there. So far, really, really good. And I'm going to tell you, used to this place, when I came here, but when we did a lot of broadcasts, a lot of leagues, really was a place that a lot of drivers cringed at, because it used to be a place that just was synonymous for cautions. It was just, it was bad. A lot of leagues avoided it. So maybe the reconfiguration has helped that a lot. But I know this place used to be, it was rough.
I'm a tad bit confused right here, Joe.
Well,
no, I'm talking about who's up here with us.
I don't know, but I moved him.
He's gone.
Yeah, I moved him. I don't know what in the world.
Yeah, I was like, I'm confused because I heard a lot of white noise with it.
I thought that was you there for a minute.
No, someone came up for a second.
Yeah. Worm out there says made the track a lot tighter. I could see that it did make the track tighter, which is probably going to throw it into a one groove style track. 1.5 is what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, a little bump of contact right there. That's one way of sending a car into the turn. Wow. Good holding on to it there, Ralph Van Divorce. We got a good shot of that one there. Ralph just got sent into the talk about bump and run on the track, but I can see where the 1.5 groove kind of is there, but I definitely can tell where it's a lot tighter than what it used to be.
Yeah, I agree with how much tighter the track seems to be. Got a little bit more insight on the reconstruction, just a little bit.
Okay.
Right now, we got front stretch was widened from 52 to 62 feet. So
okay.
It's 10 feet wider on the front stretch. You got pit stalls were changed from asphalt to concrete. The dog leg between turns 2 and 3, which is where it is in correlation to the configuration of the track, was pushed outwards 95 feet, which tightened the turn radius of the dog leg from 800 feet to 500 feet. That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's getting into kind of the technical side of it there a little bit. I mean, in a nutshell, the whole track is different. We definitely can say that. And I haven't watched enough Phoenix races to know whether or not this configuration or the old configuration, which one brings the better racing. Bottom line on that. I do know obviously the championship race has been moved to here, so there you go. And now they have two races in a year because they just did the one in real life today, and obviously the championship one will be at the end of the year. So that's interesting to see and see what happens there. As you see, boy, Tommy Ryan coming out of the turn sideways. He's got David Comstock all over his back bumper right now. Comstock's looking like he's wanting to take that second place spot. Tommy's kind of fighting that machine just a little bit here. You can get a little loose after a while.
Yeah, you can. I even saw it in a couple instances today with how that goes. And Apollo says, I see it too.
Yeah. he's happy for him. He's happy
vocal
for him.
on his opinions tonight.
Yeah, hey, there you go. Big dog trying to get up here and see what he can see, man, right now. As you see David Comstock, like I said, just all over the back bumper. And maybe going to try to pick. There's the dog leg, just not as wide and big as it used to be. It's still there. And you see kind of just how like I was talking about before, the repave here just kind of cut that, and I'm going to say pretty much cut it in half. But if what you were saying now with the start-finish line being changed in turn 4, what I was talking about before is going to be totally different to what it used to be. So, and kind of right here is where I was talking about, is that used to be where you would see a lot of guys just fan way down there. They just don't do it much anymore. So definitely a good shot of how this place is reconfigured around as we're watching David Comstock still try to get back up on the back end. Tommy pulls away just a little bit right there, kind of hanging on to it. Got old Ryan Hopper. He's right there in 4th place spot, having a good run tonight.
Yeah, I'm kind of think what's really piquing me, Joe, is the pit strategy for tonight, because like you said earlier, usually Phoenix can spell some cautions, but
well,
here
they
in
run
this
100%
league,
fuel here, so fuel should never be a really much of an issue. Tires will be your biggest one here.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking with how the pit strategy will come in with tires, because I mean it's a short. I would consider it a short track because it's a mile.
Me too.
I consider a mile or less a short track, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, we've had that conversation several times. Some are different. Some consider different. Some don't.
Well, these guys are still cooking around here, and so going off of what I was saying earlier, is you got a nice little battle that we're looking at right here. with the pit strategies, because like you said before, we could have cautions here at this track. Definitely can have some. But this group of guys here in the Sim500 do a great job of, I mean, these guys are awesome, watching how they go around the track, how competitive they are, and keep the race going. A lot of the times, we haven't seen too many cautions. Usually these guys are very on top of it and racing and throughout the entirety of the race. So that's where the strategy can come in a little bit, as we're already a quarter of the way through the race, Joe.
and you're right. I mean, I go with you. I mean, I am so used to hear the guys at Sim500 that they. I'm not saying they can't have caution fest race. I mean, I've been in some. I've broadcasted some of them where, yeah, just a problematic track, because they do follow the real NASCAR schedule. So you're going to get some tracks out there that no matter what it is, cautions breed cautions on it. A lot of times it's a shorter style track or whatnot, and Phoenix used to be one of those tracks where it was really a problematic track. Like I say, since the reconfig's not too bad. But I'm like you there, Alex. Here we've seen they do, for the most part, have a lot of green flag racing here. What makes up that a lot, too, is I'm going to say probably, if not half of this field, if not maybe more, are guys that have run in the Sim500 with each other for a many of years. And once you get a core group like that, it's almost like in NASCAR. Everybody knows the kind of tendencies of each other, and that's why I've broadcasted them for so long now. It's been 3 years or so now. I get used to seeing a lot of these drivers out here, and what they do and what they can't do, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, I mean, after a while, it leads to good racing. Now, true, they got new guys out here that come and go. So, but again, for the most part, you got pretty much most of these guys have run each other for a long time, or around each other for a long time.
Yeah, and that's what I think spells that competitiveness and how good these guys are around each other, because they know each other. I'm punching my microphone as I'm waving my hand as I'm talking. But knowing each other and how each other races, like you said, having a good core group of guys like that, I think spells for some great racing. And we see a lot of that here with this group.
Absolutely.
Is now David Comstock has taken that position over Tommy Ryan. He's trying to chase down Daniel Falkingham up front, who's been up front the entirety of this race so far.
He has. Well, I'll tell you what, another guy you want to talk about, one of the regulars here, a guy we're watching, is Brian Wortman. And I tell you, Brian, he actually works. It's a unique story for Brian. I tell you, if anybody knows him on Facebook out there and has heard of his story, he's persevered to find his way to working in some NASCAR teams. He's worked for Morgan Shepherd Racing and a couple other Xfinity teams on the crew and whatnot. So good to see him out here. But he's a long-time Sim500 racer, and here's just a person who loves to race. Okay, bottom line, he'll say it. He loves to come out here. Probably not, lack of a better word for me to say, he's not up front a lot. But you know what? He's learning. He gets out here and he's having fun. He comes out here week in and week out. Some guys would get frustrated after a while. Oh, I can't get up there and I can't win nothing, blah, blah, blah. These guys are really fast and all. That's what I'm talking about him now. He makes a mistake. That's usually what happens. He must have heard me and got excited. But Brian, good guy. He just comes in and week out, and he just has fun. He loves to get here, and he's had a couple good finishes there before, and I've really rooted for him and whatnot. But he just simplifies that person that comes out week in and week out and doesn't really complain about a lot that I know of, because I don't hang around him, but I haven't ever heard him, and just has fun and wants to race.
And I love that, talking about how regardless of where you say, pretty much where you finish, if you have fun doing something, why not keep doing it?
Absolutely.
And that's
it's
pretty
kind
awesome
of in a story
to hear.
too there, Alex.
Yeah,
I mean, I will have to
yeah.
send you a link to it. I don't know if I'm friends with you on Facebook or not, but obviously you know my name, so it's out there. But I need to send you that link somehow. But he wrote about his story of how he got, because he does have a disability, and how he kind of overcame that at a young age, because he still is a young man. I mean, I think he's in his 30s, though. But how he overcome that and went to the NASCAR institution, graduated tops there, and got into NASCAR. And, it's been up and down for him. I mean, obviously, up and down in that, because that's just a NASCAR business. But he's stayed true to form, and through the health problems and all. And just an awesome story if somebody gets a chance to read it. But just one of those regular guys, and he comes out here no matter, how well he finishes or whatever, he just comes out to have fun, and I enjoy that about him. So, but you were talking about Daniel Falkenham. Yeah, David Comstock right now is running him down. I think he's utilizing some of that lap traffic. As you see, Comstock right now trying. He's on the back bumper. Almost on the back bumper there of Daniel, and looks like he's going to try to take a pass on him.
Yeah, and that's how you can use that. We've talked about it a couple times, Joe, is how we can use lap traffic both to lengthen your lead, but also you could use it as a guy from behind to catch up when they're dealing with it. But it looks like... Oh, I thought that was... Oh, hold on. I got confused for a second. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, he's up front now. Yeah. Tommy Ryan. I got a little bit confused. Actually, it looks like... I think David got actually caught up behind the lap car there, because he was... Pretty sure he was right there on Daniel Falkenham for a moment. So I think he got caught up behind a lap machine, didn't he?
I think we're both just confusing ourselves.
Might be. Cars look about the same out there, folks. Apologize for that. But either way, David Comstock's just trying to run down Daniel Falkenham, who is out front dominating. And, I've talked about Daniel for many a times. Guy knows how to fly through this place. He's very, very fast. Knows what needs to be done. Tommy Ryan and David Comstock right there, both. Look at Chad Coleman moving up through the field. This is a place here, though, if you're good on a long run, you're definitely going to start coming through the field. It's not one of these places where you're not going to see guys not being able to make passes. We've been on a lot of tracks where I've said before that, you're not going to see too many guys come through the field. You can see that here. Because, lap times, even though they're kind of close, they are within, they are a difference of a tenth or two, which is, we're used to only seeing, maybe a couple hundredths or whatnot. But you definitely can make some time up if you save some tires here.
And speaking of tires, Joe, I was just about to ask you, when you think guys would start coming in to get a fresh set of tires?
Well, as long as it goes green with 100% fuel, pretty much we can just kind of go off the math of what they do in the real Xfinity Series. I'm going to take a gander. As long as this thing goes green, you're not seeing anybody come in before lap 60. They're going to make it a one stop. And I think they can do that. I think they can do it. I mean, we're already at 48, lap 48. It's got to be within 50, 60 when you see the pit stops. I mean, and as I say that, you already see a couple guys coming into pit road. I mean, they could be short on making it one stop. I mean, I could be off, but I'm thinking If you can make it to the 60 lap point, maybe 61, 62, go for it, because that puts you into what? One pit stop. And then if there's a caution in between there, obviously hey, that's money in the bank right there.
Yeah, I think, kind of like you're saying, I do think that these guys could maybe make it a one-stop race.
What do you think out there, Worm? Think one-stop race out here? I was watching Mike Kelly look pretty good. Josh Parker, we saw what he did the other week. Come through the field right there. He's up to 8th already. Mike Kelly hanging on the 9th. Robert Gillenwater in the 10th place spot. Jimmy Coleman right on the outside looking in 11th. There's old Eric Arnold and Scott Simney. Comes Smiley out there hanging on the 13th. Steve Ritter 14th. Richard Beasley up to 15th. Joey Katina, head man here at Sim500. He's up to 16th place spot. Kevin Brown 17th. Kind of marred back there in traffic. Got Doey Woods in 18th spot. So good looking machines here throughout, and a big field too. You go back, it just still looks like everybody is running. Let's see. Nope, not everybody's running. Randy Yoakum and Randall Watkins out of it. So with 37 machines start. Hate that. And my dog's back there now. Heck yeah, I love it.
Yeah, they're both chiming in tonight.
No doubt. They're enjoying the race, that's what it is.
As
David Comstock here trying to run down Daniel Falkenham. You can already see that car getting a little bit sideways coming out of the turns. Just to show, coming out of here, you'll see him right there. It's a little bit sideways here, but that's a good picture right there to show something. A lot of people don't know about on NASCAR. I'm going to say a lot of people, there's a lot of people that do, but a lot that don't. Excuse me. These cars are off camber. They're not straight. The reason being is because it makes them easier to turn in the turns. So, you ever heard the word crab walking? Well, if you look at their rear ends, they're shifted some, and then that's to help them rotate through the turns. That's just kind of how NASCAR is. That used to not be a thing. Me personally, I would rather for them to go back to not doing that. Because it puts it back into the old school aspect where you really had to drive this car. Now technology's so advanced that these cars now have, that's the suspensions on these cars are so way, advanced and ahead of the time than what they used to be. And that's just one aspect of it that I don't really talk much about. But if you really look at these cars really close, don't know if I can get a fair enough. That's not going to get it going. Maybe you can see it straight on right there. You can just see the off camber a little bit, of how the rear ends are. And that's just helped the cars rotate.
Yeah, you can usually see that too. Like if you get a nice view down, like coming out of turn 2 along the back stretch, most of the time, you can really see how, like you're saying, the cars are shifted a little bit to help them turn a little bit easier. You can see it. And it's always something that I've been like, whoa, these cars are sideways.
Yeah, and to me, you come out sometimes that you'd think, well, he's going to lose control of that. How in the world does he hold on to it? But actually, it does help him. It doesn't help the straightaway speed, but it definitely helps them rotate throughout the turn, so it's all a matter of what they want. And it's actually, just like I say, it's an off-camber type thing that they do in the rear. But along with a lot of the other advancements in these cars, a lot of guys over the years have talked about get rid of the side skirts, get rid of the splitter in the front, put them back, air up underneath the car like they used to be. Definitely made them a lot harder to drive back then. Even a lot of the drivers nowadays, we talk some tech. What's up, First? How you doing out there? You're right, Worm. I think it's going to be a one pit stop here, as long as it goes green all the way. and it could, no matter of fact. But even a lot of drivers have voiced their concerns on the new package of the Cup and all that stuff, is pretty much just are glued to the track and easy to drive. But that's just how racing is now. I mean, it's just technology's come a long way, and obviously the aerodynamics is going to come with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it? Oh, for a second there, I thought that was Daniel coming up right behind David Comstock, because that guy's rocking a monster machine too. I was like, no way.
Yeah.
But,
well, you see Daniel, he's working traffic right there, yeah.
But he's doing a good job. He has put himself definitely in a safe zone right now. With lead speaking, he's got over a 2-second lead now over second place David Comstock, who himself has just about a 2-second lead over Hebner. So
it's kind of split up a little bit.
Yeah, it is splitting up, kind of like how we were seeing a little bit earlier today in the actual race. You see the leader, but I don't think the leads were this astronomical. I mean, I don't want to call a 2.5-second lead astronomical, but it's a big lead at one of these kind of tracks, and he's definitely got a little bit of a cushion there.
Yeah,
so I'm expecting to see.
I didn't get to watch much of the race today. I mean, I really don't know what kind of happened. So
all I know is that Truex won and Logano was second.
Yeah, that's about all. That's all I know. I'll go back and watch the highlights. This normally is pit stops. Tim Johnson here. Timothy going to come down on pit road. We got Robin Gilliwater on pit road also. So I think now kind of answered our question. They went lap 62, 63. I think you'll see Daniel Falkenham come in here on pit road anytime soon. So yeah, they're pretty much going to be able to go, and that gives you a safe cushion too. Here is if there's a green-white checkered. So if there's a green-white checkered, obviously now these guys would know they'd have enough fuel. Me personally, though, if it goes green flag and a green-white checkered comes out, I don't know. If I'm the leader, I don't know if I come in or not, because in that situation, being the leader is bad. Because if you don't come in and everybody else behind you comes in and gets 4 tires and fuel, you're a sitting duck. If you do come in and then let's say there's 5, 6, 7 or more that stay out, you're not going to have enough time to get back through the field, even with 4 tires, to get around all those guys, unless just mayhem ensues up front. So it's a double-edged sword to be the leader in a situation like that. I always like being maybe the third place guy, and I can see what the other guy's going to do. You know what?
Yeah, and I like how you usually, I don't want to say, usually say both sides pretty well. So I guess you could say that you play devil's advocate sometimes. Where you're like, oh hey, this is what could happen from up here, but this might be a good way to handle it from right here. So, but I don't want devil's advocate to have like a negative connotation to it for you, Joe. Usually it's just like an informative kind of thing.
Well, and I'm gonna tell you, I've seen it happen both ways. That's the biggest thing. I mean, a lot of the analytics that I throw out up here, the scenarios that I have, is I've seen that it happen in racing, and I have seen the leader gamble and stay out, and guess what? Everybody behind him come in, and knowing if you're on, because at this point, if a green white checker was to fly, let's say we go to that end, you're going to be on 60 lap old tires, and everybody else is going to be on newer ones. I mean, you're not going to head off into turn 1 and 2 and be able to hold it like they are, and they're going to send it in there, no man's land. But on the flip side, I have seen the leader bring the field down, but then guys back in maybe 10th, the 12th, or 11th place stay out, and you end up with about 6, 7, 8 cars staying out. Yeah, they might be on that 60-lap old tire scenario I was talking about, but you've got to get around 6 or 7 lap cars in 2 laps. And on a track like this where it's hard to pass, but it's real narrow like we were talking before, you just might run out of time. And I've seen that too. And then I've seen the flip side. There's a third side to this one too. I've seen it work out great. Leader come in, get tires, and then everything just fall the way he needs it to, and boom, he gets back to the front somehow, some way. So there's always that silver lining out there. But looks like David Comstock made his pit stop, or excuse me, Daniel Falkenham made his pit stop. It's Tommy Ryan we're watching right there. Daniel made his, had a very good pit stop, got out in front of a lot of them. The biggest thing that we talk about too with green flag stops, trying to look here, David Comstock came in at lap 65. Falkenham came in at 67. One of the major things that we see with green flag stops, Alex, is it splits the field up widely. Remember that 2-second lead, and we were talking about this the other night. With a green flag stop, it makes that 2-second lead even further. And I'm trying to see. Actually, they were able to maintain, and I think the reason they were able to maintain is because David came in about two laps prior. So he short pitted there at Falkenham. But I think over the long run, I think it's going to benefit Daniel as long as we stay green.
Yeah, I think so too. What's kind of curious about this, though, is when did Josh Parker come in? Because now he's in front of Daniel right there.
He came in at lap 60. So there the short pit definitely helped him. Even though it didn't get him a lot of track position over David Comstock, and Daniel Falkenham still passed him. So, yeah, he's about on 5-6 lap older tires. You can already see what the difference of 5-6 lap older tires. And we were talking earlier, I mean that, so imagine what 60 lap different tires would do.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, of course, right as I say that, Daniel just comes up and passes him. But Josh Parker somehow finds his way up into these positions. What I've seen over the past couple of weeks is he makes himself get through these positions in whichever way possible. And he does a pretty good job of it because, I mean, last week he caught that black flag?
Yeah.
And came all the way up from the back.
The pit, yeah, he had a bad pit, got the black flag on it, and then, like you said, he came back up and was able to have a good finish out of the day. So, yeah, you're right, Worm, out there. I mean, a lot of people really like the sim racing aspect, more so than the real aspect. I mean, don't get me wrong, real racing is still real racing. There is no substitute on it. But I've always said iRacing.com is about as real as you can get without spending millions of dollars to go real racing. How's that? So, but yeah, the no fear. I mean, we've talked about this in the past with sim racing. It is very. I mean, I'm trying to find a way to say it right, but it's very tough to find a good league. Not saying that there's bad ones, but fortunately probably are. But to find a good solid lead to where they mimic the real style, and that's one thing I do like about the Sim500. Every series that they do is going to mimic what they do in real life. There's no fast fixes. They 100% fuel. The tire limits here, they pretty much stay with that 3-set tire limit throughout. I like that because it puts a lot of strategy along with being fast. Good, solid, clean racing. Points matter here the most because the penalty stuff we don't talk about a lot, but if you read the rule book, how their penalty and points work, as far as like if you cause a wreck or anything like that, which is one of the biggest issues with a lot of different leagues and so forth, is guys getting out there, wrecking or causing cautions and, slowing down the pace, et cetera. It can happen. But I like what they do here because points matter. Obviously, because we've got a lot of prizes for the championship. As you see, E.J. O'Rourke finally comes in to make his pit stop. He's going to hand the lead over to Daniel Falkenham, who was right back up front where he was before. And you can see it, that lead between him and David Comstock stretching a little bit of 3 seconds. But anyways, to finish off what I was saying is just in a nutshell, comparing real to what the league is. Yes, if we find a very good league that follows a lot of the rules, and obviously they do here at Sim500, even with the schedule and stuff, very competitive here too. Very. You've got, your top guys. We talk about the iRating system. Your top 3 guys are over 5,000, and then you still got 3, 4s, 2,500s. It throughout the whole entire field. It's amazing to see what the kind of level of competition is here.
And talking about that, I always make the point to be like, hey, these guys do a great job of keeping that level of competitiveness up, and just how skilled this group of guys is. These guys are awesome. I love watching these guys.
Yeah.
We've been green flagged the whole way, and we're 2/3 of the way through the race.
Let's go by quick. And I appreciate everybody out there. I hope it sounds and looks good to you out there. We're here at Phoenix for the Ford Entertainment Group, Sim500. And I got to give a shout out there to the old Ford Entertainment Group, FEG. Jeffrey Ford does an outstanding job. If you're looking for a PC, if you're looking for anything sim-related, equipment-wise or something like that, definitely give him a shout, the Ford Entertainment Group. He specializes in a lot of sim racing PCs and rigs and stuff, but he pretty much can build you about any PC you want to do about anything you need to do. But he definitely, a lot of guys out here, and obviously the man in the lead right now, Daniel Falkenham, he's running a Ford Entertainment Group PC that was built for him. So not only is the man behind the wheel there fast, obviously his computer's fast too, so good job on his end. Daniel's looking, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't Daniel win last week? But look at that. I should know those stats, folks, and I apologize.
I think he definitely might have.
I should know this stuff, and I don't. But, so, beat up on the broadcast guy.
Yeah, it's our fault.
Yeah. No doubt.
But what I've been seeing here is I'm watching some of these guys go around this track. Going down into that dog leg, if they drop down onto the apron, it looks like a pretty rough little transition right there.
Always
a little
been
rougher
a little
than
bump. Yeah, there's always been a
than I
little
thought.
bump.
But watching some of these guys, I'm just like, yo. And you might see it here as you look.
My bad.
That
Josh
wasn't
Parker
that
actually
wasn't
won the race
bad.
last week. Guy we was talking about before came back. Remember? Daniel Falkenham had a good finish in that race.
And right now he's rocking a 4-second lead right now. But it has been all his
Falkenham finished
race.
second last week. My bad, folks. He and Josh Parker was able to capitalize. Remember the mishap he had earlier on, and came in a win. So kind of got him flipped a little bit. I thought Falkenham won last week. Nope. Parker was able to hold him off and win that one. So could have known it. My bad. That's on me. Actually, Parker's won 2 this season. He is he's in line for doing pretty good. We're on at race number 5. He's already won 2. Jimmy North pulled off, the Daytona win. Ryan Howard right there. So really, you're seeing some of the top guys. Daniel, Josh is up to 3rd. Ryan is, after his pit stops, trying to see where Ryan Howard is. He was up front. Ryan. Where's Ryan? Missing him. Eyeballs and then went crazy or something.
Ryan Howard, you said?
Yeah. He was up front. Alright.
I'm confused because I don't even see him.
I don't either, but I swore I saw him out there. I mean, they do have drop weeks here. Being a long season like it is, obviously guys can, miss a race. He's already in the championship. He's won a race, so there you go. But, I don't even see him. I swore I saw him earlier on. But, hey, nonetheless, back to what we're talking about here. They do have a drop week, so I believe they have 2 of them that they're allowed since, this is pretty much running the whole Xfinity Series schedule here, folks. They're going to go 34 races, which is what the Xfinity Series runs. And, I'm used to that with this series. I've done many other truck series and cup series here. And they just follow the whole entire schedule. We do have a couple off weeks coming up here. Got some good races, though, coming up. We got Atlanta and then Bristol. Obviously, we're going to run some road courses this season. Got a lot of great races coming, but right now, it's a good one here at Phoenix. I mean, you got Timothy Johnson up in 4th. Tommy Ryan's right there behind him. Johnson looking like he's wanting to try to overtake Parker here for a moment.
And talking about Josh Parker right here, I'm pretty sure I saw Worm comment on the YouTube asking about if that's like a throwback Labonte scheme.
Looks like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. It looks just like it. So it could be.
Well, I mean, any interstate battery, and I think Parker really he's running an interstate battery paint scheme. I haven't seen really in anything different, but how fanned out they are, we might could get our OSR Network rundown order here. Let's see if we can't get through here and show off some of the paint jobs. Let's see if we can try. Been on the green for a while. We got Daniel Falkenham out front leading it. Been pretty much dominating most of the race here and looking to put that thing in victory lane here tonight. We talked about David Comstock hanging on to second there. Looking good, the monster machine. And was just talking about Josh Parker, 2 wins this season. So he definitely is dominating so far early on in the season. That could always change later on, as we've seen, but he's up to 3rd right now. Timothy Johnson having a good run. Up to 4th place. Tommy Ryan, I'll tell you what, there's another one. When he's talking about his Northern Tool and Equipment Machine, he's out here in the 5th place spot. Mike Kelly's up to 6. Not sure why my camera switched, but he's up to 6. Robert Gillenwater there in the 7th. Looking good for the night, having a good run. Chad Coleman. There's another one coming up in the 8th place spot. Ryan Hopper. He was up front there for a little bit. He's back to 9th, though. He's trying to capitalize and see if he can't get it further. Eric Arnold. Like some of the cars are off on the camera. Jimmy Coleman there in the 11th place spot. Scott Simley hanging on to the 12th place. E.J. O'Rourke falling back a little bit. Remember, he just took his pit stop, so he's on a way different pit stop. He went 70-some laps. So that kind of tells us, excuse me, I choked up a little bit. That tells us right there, he's pitted on lap 78. That just tells us how far they can push this thing. That might pay dividends if this thing goes green the rest of the way here, because that's something to think about. How about that, folks? That's something to think about, because he's going to be on a solid 10 to almost 15 laps, different tires, so something to look at there. But he's at 13th right now, rumbling back. Steve Ritter hanging on the 14th, and Richard Beasley also. Looks like which car it is, might be Toyota around, but Dowie Woods up to 16th, and Kevin Brown hanging on to the 17th place spot. Chris Jabou up to 18th, looking good tonight in the machine. Joey Katina, we were talking about him earlier. main man. He's got that Ford PC car running up to 19th. Glenn Campbell, Trans Service Cup machine there, and sitting in 20th. We got Milt Matisse hanging on to the 21st. Jose Gonzalez comes speedy out there. He's up to 22nd. Looks like he's got a little front end nose damage, unfortunately. There's old Don Runkle Jr., the man himself right there in the 23rd. Joe Hudson up to 24th. Gerald Livingston, 25th place spot. Shannon Woods, good looking Sea-Doo machine right there. 26th. Gerald was in 25th. Joe Wilco, 27th. Ralph Van der Voort got caught up in the wreck earlier on. No caution on it though, but he hit the wall hard. He's in 28th. We're talking about Brian Wortman. Looking good, his machine right there. He's back at 29th. Jeff Ryan hanging on to the 30th place spot. It looks like James is on pit road, unfortunately, in 32nd. Steve Herring is going to be right there. And Joseph Burgess, 33rd. John Fowler is the man who is in 34th. As we still see James right here. A couple guys out of the race, unfortunately. Frank Peacock, Randy Yoakum, and it looks like James is just retired from the race also. And Randall Watkins is another one, which will bring us all the way back up here to this guy, our leader, out front, kind of dominating all night long, Daniel Falkenham. So that's your OSR Network Rundown Order. Gives you a good look at all the cars and show off some of these amazing paint jobs out here. And sponsors.
Yeah, I always love going through your little rundown right there, Joe. Definitely looking at some of the guys throughout the entirety of the field. Granted, we have a couple that are out that we can't really look at, because it looks like that guy on pit road just left, I think.
Yeah.
He might have just left.
Okay. Well, it's been a good,
Daniel's
solid
sitting up
race
front.
so far, I'm going to tell you. I mean, we
Yeah,
got
man.
19 to go. I mean, this thing is flying by. I mean, on a short track, and again, you know, some people say a mile track. Joe's not short track, but to me, anything a mile or less short track. I've had this conversation a million times. If you think a mile track is a super speedway, have at it. I'm saying short track. So, with that said, on a short track, as much green flag as we've been running, because if I'm not mistaken, we haven't had a caution here. Knock on wood.
We have not. There you go.
We had close to a couple. I mean, we was talking about earlier. Ralph, he got a little bit of boot in the back and hit the wall, and we did see one car go spinning. But in iRacing, you know and I know, if you get far enough off the racing surface, it will not trigger the caution. Sometimes it's weird when it does it, but nonetheless, it's been all this man out front, Daniel Falkenham, and he's just lapping the field one by one. He has now got a substantial lead over David Comstock, and I think that's where those newer tires are coming into play. He's sitting out here right now with about 6-second lead over David. Josh Parker's sitting there about 2 seconds back. That's just one thing about green flag runs. But right now, Timothy Johnson's giving Josh Parker all he can handle. That's for 3rd and 4th place spot. But this is just what green flag runs will do. They will spread the field out a little bit.
And spread out this field definitely is. I mean, you got the gap between 1st and 2nd place is over 5 seconds. And Worm saying a barely short, deceptively long track.
Well, you know, and we've had that conversation too out there several times, Worm, that a lot of tracks, you know, mile track, even if you compare the mile tracks, like Dover, this one, and I think Richmond also, I believe, might come to mind. Or actually, no, New Hampshire, was up in New Hampshire. If you look at them tracks, yeah, they're a mile long, but man, they just don't. Sometimes they look bigger than that, or they just don't look like the mile tracks. We've had some 3/4 mile tracks that just look bigger than what they were, and I guess it's just how the layout is and so forth and so on. But nonetheless, like you said, a big short track. There we go. That kind of make everybody happy. But Timothy Ryan right now running in 4th. Tommy Ryan right there behind him in 5th. There's not a lot you can do on a pace like this. I mean, you either have the pace or you don't. You're pretty much out here to try to get what you can get. I mean, once it kind of gets spread out like it is.
Yeah, and those green flag pit stops just fed even more into spreading out the field a little bit. I mean, a little bit, a lot of bit. I think it's very spread out now.
It is, and
So-
it will. That's just like you just alluded to. That's the green flag stops here. Is right with Chad Coleman, seeing what he sees out the front view mirror, and just watch him kind of working that wheel a little bit. Pretty smooth so far. You was talking about that bump. You can just see that upset the car too much, but it's like a worm was out there talking. It can wear those tires down a little. You see him right here. You have to work the wheel a little bit because you can get a little loose coming off that turn. For the most part, he's putting a lot of. It tells me right there that the car might be a little bit tight on him. He's putting a lot of wheel in it, turning that wheel a lot. He's either that or got a heck of a rotation on it, but he's having to put a lot of wheel. So it's. Usually when you do that, maybe the car might be a little bit tight. And he's probably having to let off the throttle too.
Yeah, I was just watching that, seeing how turned he is, or whatever you want to call it, how much he's turning that wheel.
We'll
might
see
be
Daniel
fighting
and see what he's doing.
just a little bit.
I mean, it could be the same. Not quite as much. You see Daniel right there is a little bit more smoother, but let's watch one of his laps here. Maybe kind of get a rep. Maybe it's just how you run this track. We just not really have watched, and watch right here. And yeah, you can tell nowhere near what Chad was doing. Maybe a couple degrees off there. You can see because by watching the red tape. We'll watch turn 1, 2 here. Yeah. Where I think Chad was having to pull it almost 90 degrees. Yeah, I guess it'd be 90 degrees. See Daniel now. He might have to turn a little bit harder here. No, he don't. So okay, he's not using. But then again, that could be a miss thing there too, Alex. He could be using a different steering ratio than somebody else.
Yeah, and that's always something that can be taken into account, especially watching from these like heads-up views. Just like looking from right here, we could maybe see a little difference between the turns. Like he's rocking pretty much the same.
Yeah,
but
he was.
It's just
Chad
not
right
as
there
smooth.
Yeah, Chad was right there. Yeah, you can see him fighting the car just a little bit. See what he does here. Yeah, the smoothness is the biggest thing, and that's it's just a good shot here to show the difference in driving styles. Watch, this is Daniel, obviously leading. To see how that wheel does not rock back and forth. It's a smooth motion all the way through the turn, as opposed here to some Chad back here. Let's watch how he takes the turn. There, that car got tight on him. See how he had to jerk the wheel. Car got tight, and there you see him rocking a little bit coming out. So just in those little bit of movements, you're going to lose a astronomical amount of time in the turns. And right there is just a huge example, Alex, of the difference in driving styles and how our car react to different people, and I hate to say it this way, but maybe some of the skill difference there.
Yeah, all that definitely could play a factor. I like looking here because I got the YouTube posted up on my TV so I can see the comments coming up. I don't remember seeing much of Worm before, but I like his input. He provides a lot of.
It was last night. He was on there last night. Well,
yeah, he provides a lot of good input.
I'm gonna go off on what he said there a minute ago. I don't really think the difference in wheelbases make that much of a difference. That is the discussion you could sit here and talk about all night long. And it's really a personal thing, because there's pro drivers out there on G27 machines that are pro drivers that will beat the heck out of guys on $1,500, $2,000 direct drive wheels, which are supposed to be the be-all, end-all of sim racing, of how it feels. And don't get me wrong, yeah, if you get $1,000 direct drive wheel, it should feel there. But I could take a $300 wheel, Thrustmaster, even a Fanatic at 500 or so, and still be just as fast as any of these guys out here. Skill still plays a factor. What we were showing there, really, the working of the wheel was the biggest thing that we were showing. The smoothness. It doesn't matter what you've got to be smooth with it. And some guys can, can, unfortunately. I mean, and that's, but I ain't taking nothing away from Chad. Now, Chad is up to 8th place. He'd be doing a lot better than I would be doing if I was out here. Let me go ahead and say this. As the white flag's out, checker flag, and we're about to say, Daniel Falkenham says, you know what? Let me show off a little bit. We got caught up in our talking, man. The white flag flew, and Daniel Falkenham says, you know what, guys? Hey, look, race over with. But just real quick, taking it back to what we're saying there, hats off to Daniel. He's very smooth all night long. We went flag to flag racing here, so awesome.
Yeah, it definitely was. Usually don't see that too much, but it seems like we see that a couple times pretty frequently here in this group. And these guys do a great job of it. So, and I mean, it was a very exciting race, talking about all the different factors that could be brought in, a little bit of reconfiguration, and just some of the racing in general. I mean, it was a pretty exciting race, man.
Oh, absolutely. I enjoyed it. Hope everybody out there enjoyed it. It looked pretty good. Wait for some of these guys maybe to jump up here and we can get a word in with them. Race-wise, that is. Definitely going to be a good race here, or it was a good race all in all tonight. Jumps up here first for us. Just kind of waiting on, but I'm gonna tell you what a run. And while we're waiting here, we talk about the wheel thing. You mentioned that too out there. I think the ratio, like you said, 10, 12, 14 ratio makes a huge difference in it. So, again, you consider talk about the difference between belt drive, gear drive, direct drive all night long. And not taking anything away from direct drive. And if you've got the money, that's the way to go. So, there you go. But definitely clean the green here tonight. Looks like we got third place man Josh Parker. Bring him up. Let's get a word with him here, Alex.
Hey, Josh, it's Alex in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, man. So it seems like you got a pretty strong car here week in and week out, man. You're coming in with another top 3 finish here in the last, couple weeks. You won last week, coming in third this week. You had some strategy coming up with pit stops, trying to gain some position there, or what are you kind of going with?
Yeah, I needed to. I don't think I had the speed on a long run to finish top 3, so I needed to. I decided to cut the race in half and just hope it goes green. I mean, I have a couple wins in my pocket already. I know it's not winning your in, but we're in a good position at points, so I figured to cut it in half, see what happened, and it worked out. That helped me definitely get to top 3 there. So.
Yeah, you played it pretty good, man. So we did get a question about your paint scheme, possibly being a little like Labonte throwback or something like that. Don't know if that's exactly what it is or not, but you got a pretty strong car all the time, man. So seeing how you overcame and noticing that you didn't have that long run speed that you wanted, what are you kind of thinking with back in towards the end of the race as the runs were going on, as you're nearing your pit stop and nearing the end of the race, you trying to hold that position?
Yeah, the Interstate Batteries paint scheme, that's is because I run for Joe Gibbs in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. So I'm a Joe Gibbs esports driver on the console side. So that's the reason why I have Interstate on every one of my cars. I did grow up a Bob Labonte fan, so I guess it kind of works out that Interstate sponsors me. So I guess it's a little bit of a mix of both. And yeah, I for some reason struggle at Phoenix. I used to dominate Phoenix back in the day, back in the Coke series when this was the old configuration, and ever since they switched this configuration, for some reason I don't run good here. I mean, I have top 10, top 5 speed, but I never have race winning speed. So it's kind of frustrating knowing that this is where the championship race will be. I'm gonna have to start learning, but it's good to know I can use pit strategy to make up for some of the lack of speed.
Yeah, man, you play it off pretty well most of the time from what I'm seeing, man. So anybody you want to give a shout out to, thank for this strong finish here at Phoenix this evening?
Yeah, like I said, I got to thank Joe Gibbs, Joe Gibbs Esports, Interstate Batteries, Larry, and Charlie, everyone over at Interstate, for what they do for me. Like I said, on the NASCAR Heat Pro League side, you guys are doing the broadcast, Joey, everyone at Sim500, team name, Chad, Dan, Comstock, Beasley, Pedro, Doy, and a shout out to Dan, my teammate on Monday nights for the win tonight.
Awesome, man. And like we said, having a pretty strong, consistent car week in and week out from what you're seeing. Definitely sitting pretty in points here with these finishes you've been racking up here in the first bit of races we got going on. Congratulations again, your third place finish.
I appreciate it.
Love having you up here again with us, man.
Thanks, guys.
There we go. Josh Parker, like I say, definitely fast all season long. We got David Comstock here, second place man. Bring him out, let your word with him.
Hey, David, it's Alex up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, how's it going?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. How you doing after that race?
Still trying to get my feet up underneath me. I don't get to race as much as I used to, so to be able to have an opportunity to run as well as I did tonight when we were on equal tires and to keep up with the overall winner, Daniel, not too bad, I guess.
Yeah, man, you had a super strong car pretty much the entirety of the night. So let me get a quick little insight on your strategy when it came to the pits for when you're breaking that about halfway through the race point. Is that kind of what you were expecting to do, or what? Just give me a little rundown of what that would have been at that point.
Yeah, I think the window, seeing that it went green and everybody got spread out, somewhere right around halfway, give or take 10 laps, because everyone wants to do their own plan, and it seemed like the overcut was the way to go. I tried to do the undercut to see if I can get a chance to leapfrog Daniel, but there's too much of a gap, and I really didn't have a good entry into pit road. I almost sped for 2 weeks in a row, so I had to back my speed down before the timing line to not screw that up again. And I just didn't get a good dig off of pit road, and I got caught through some traffic blending back up on the track. So I never even got a chance to get to his bumper, even if I hadn't gotten caught up and had to make so many mistakes. But really just trying to just get undercut. And from what I can recall from when I used to race a bunch, it seems like it's still the overcut is the way to go. So, just as I keep racing, as I get back into it and get used to how this all goes again, I can hopefully be able to leapfrog one more position into a win at some point. I feel like I haven't lost that much. I feel like I can still hustle the car. I just still little things here and there that I'm not quite comfortable with.
Yeah, well, definitely welcome back. Love seeing guys come back and be as productive and competitive as you were this evening. Talking about how Daniel had the quick car and all that jazz. You were knocking on his door a little bit, and then so was it? How do you think that was coming from that position, being like, hey, I need to catch up to this guy, but he's got a quick car? Is that's where you were trying to do your undercut stuff? So what about during the runs, man? What were you trying to do during the long runs between or after, like before and or after that pit stop?
Before, once I was able to make the pass on Tommy to get to second, I think it was maybe a little over a second gap that I had to Daniel. And I was just pushing the car too hard, just trying to get more than what it was capable of at that point in the run and what was left or currently on the tires. And Just lack of seat time, not knowing what these cars and this tire model does now. I just probably overheated the right front, and then as the run went, I tried to cool it, but then I lost another second, and then I swapped ends and was burning the right rear a little bit. So, by that point we had our pit stop and just tires, that overcut. He had better tires, so even if I probably got in front of him, he probably would have passed me back just with better tires. He pitted 2 laps after me, I think. So, that seems to be pretty big.
Yeah, man, seemed to work out pretty good. Not exactly though, but I mean, you came in with a very strong second place finish, man. You had a very competitive car through the entirety of the night. Anybody you want to give a shout out to or thank for this good finish here at Phoenix tonight, man?
Yeah, congrats to Daniel, teammates. With Daniel, Josh, all 3 of us here getting interviews. So good showing for all of us on team name, as well as other teammates, Chad Coleman, Richard Beasley. Probably gonna miss some names. It's been a while. Joy Woods, everybody on team name, all their support. Appreciate everybody at Sim500 and all the admins for putting on our leagues we get to run. Everybody has every single day of the week, 7 days a week. Go sign up on sim500.com. Appreciate you guys for broadcasting, FEG for sponsoring the series, and everybody out there watching. Appreciate everybody's support. Thank you. Oh, and shoot, this is how rusty I am. I'm even forgetting the sponsors. RacingBiz.com, Monster Energy, Snap Mobile, Oakley, Coca-Cola. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations again on your second place finish. Welcome back again. Love seeing you guys come back and be as productive and competitive again like you were this evening. So congratulations on that again. Glad to have you up here with us.
Thanks, man.
There you go, David Comstock, man, holding off, coming back here in second, like you say, not missing a beat there, pulling off a good finish. Daniel Falkenham, Joy in the booth, got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I tell you what, dominating finish here and a dominating run. I tell you, flag to flag, green flag there. Just thought that would happen at a racetrack like Phoenix?
Absolutely not, considering the history of this track. Here in Sim500, it's known for a lot of yellows and whatnot. But so I was genuinely surprised that we were able to go green like we did, and I'm very happy with how everyone raced tonight, even though there was a few issues with lap traffic, really not knowing what they're doing. But overall, everyone using their heads tonight and whatnot. So I'm very happy about that, and just pretty much just shows what this league is capable of green flag race and whatnot. It's pretty much the same over on the Cup side as well, where we've only, I think, have had 6 yellows in the first 4 races of the year on the Cup side. So yeah, whatever is going on, the league is really stepping up with less yellows this year, and very, very cool to see.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm with you. Like you said, I mean, I was telling Alex up here, I remember how Phoenix was just one of these tracks that kind of brewed cautions. Nothing against any talent or anything. It's just how this track usually is. And man, green flag, flag to flag, that's an accomplishment, like you said, with the Sim500. I know y'all step up a lot here. But man, I tell you what, was able to put in victory lane here tonight, able to break through that bubble. How's it feel to win one?
It was always good to win. Definitely been disappointing the last 3 weeks. Of course, I couldn't do the first race because I was on suspension, and then the last 3 races, I feel like we could have won all 3 of them, but just didn't put ourselves in the right position at the right time. Went on a few mistakes on my part as well. So it's definitely disappointed with not getting the win last week, but so I'm very happy we kind of redeemed ourselves and we were able to get it this week, especially at Phoenix. Phoenix is probably one of my best tracks. It's one of my favorite tracks on the whole schedule as well. So it was really cool to get a win here and be able to dominate like we did as well. It just shows how much I like this track and whatnot. And hopefully we can do the same thing over on the Cup side tomorrow. It's definitely going to be way different to drive, different car to drive than what we had tonight. Just speaking of the car, it was really weird to drive tonight with how kind of wonky it felt and how kind of it either pushed loose or either be pushed loose or be just like very tight all the way through. But so yeah, it's definitely gonna be a different beast to drive tomorrow, and hopefully we can carry the success we had tonight into tomorrow, and hopefully have a good run there in the Cup side. Absolutely,
and I tell you what, like you said, so maybe it'll transfer over to the cup end. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. But nonetheless, you came home tonight, a dominating win here at Phoenix for the Ford Entertainment Group. Sim500 Xfinity Series. You got anybody you want to thank for it?
Thank First Rate Bay Labs 207 for all their support and whatnot. Also got to thank Joey and the guys, everyone here at Sim500 for all they do, for all their support, and for all they do for the leagues and whatnot. Also got to thank Rage Cajun Designs for painting up the scarf for me. Got to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. Definitely going to be a broadcast I'm going to go back and watch. Thanks to Ford Entertainment Group for sponsoring the series. Thanks to all my teammates, Team Name, David Comstock, Chad Coleman, Richard Beasley, Josh Parker, Doy Woods, all that bunch and whatnot. And yeah, thanks to everyone who watched the race tonight as well. Definitely a fun one.
Oh, definitely, like you just said, good run, and you were able to pull this thing off here tonight and put it in victory lane again. David, or Daniel, I said David, that's what David was running behind you. My bad. Sometimes I get y'all's names a little confused. I guess it's the Daniel David. There it is. But hey, Daniel, man, always a pleasure and always good to hear you. And again, congratulations on that win.
Joe.
All right, there we go. Daniel Falkenham bringing it home here tonight and an outstanding win. I tell you what, Alex, flag to flag. I mean, you can't ask for no better than that. That's just phenomenal to full-on green flag here at Sim500. But what a race.
Yeah, like you were saying, man, you can't get better than flag to flag racing. That, I mean, and seeing how these guys go about it is just awesome. There's a great group of guys watching and seeing how they make these races go the way that they go. So very exciting race here at Phoenix this evening, man.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, hope you enjoyed it. We're going to head out here from Phoenix here in the desert for the Sim500 Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series. For myself, Alex, and everybody here at the Sim500, have a good night.